And that concludes our chapters. So we'll move on to the Bestiary.
All right, starting with the Erlking, we have the mythology comes from European folklore and myth. The Erlking is a sinister elf who lingers in the woods. He talks to children who stay in the woods for too long and then kills them by a single touch. Because why not? Or in world lore, Erlkings are considered the king of fairies. They do create powerful lights and illusions. And if they're old enough, they can ensnare others with false feelings of infatuation. So little cupids here. Mischievous and callous, these mystical creatures often hurt people on accident with their lethal magic effects. It's like an oopsie moment.
Not a fun fairy.
No. So these fairies are tier 3, and their production is quite interesting as well, as they are fable-born, and they are strictly born from a queen's fairy who consumes her arcanist corpse. So they start out as a queen fairy, and their arcanist dies, and then they eat their arcanist. And then they turn into an Erlking.
A small correction. The queen fairy vomits, and then the vomit turns into an Erlking. Gross.
Again, not a nice fairy.
No, I don't like this one. For evocation, they do have a very powerful light. They're able to manipulate light and to create illusions. Erlking's augmentation on themselves make them immune to instant death magics, while their augmentation on others allow people to see through illusions. So what I'm hearing in this is they could kill a Reaper and not die.
That would seem to be true. So King's Revenge may not be effective against them.
Therefore, Erlkings are better than Reapers?
They seem to have their weakness. So
well, yeah, but, I mean, just looking strictly at the King's Revenge.
The next one we are going to touch on is the Stone Golem, which in mythology is an animated anthropomorphic being in Jewish folklore, and it's created from inanimate matter, usually clay or mud. Golems are made of the mineral in the area where the golem spawns. And if you look at the wiki for these, if you played Tears of the Kingdom, the Flux construct, it's very similar to that, but in stone. They are tier 3 with a fable birth, but the fable isn't quite figured out, and their trial of worth involves a test of resilience. Not much detail on their evocation, but they are able to manipulate stone that's of the same type. So a clay golem can manipulate clay, so on and so forth. And they are able to augment their own powers, essentially becoming stronger and more durable. And their true form, while it's unobserved, it does require a golem to find a very rare metal deep within the earth.
And with that, we'd like to thank you everyone for listening today. We do want to remind you that we do post new episodes every Wednesday morning around 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. And we do want to thank our editor, Dan Mackison, for including pictures and links for everything. And if you wanted to reach out to us, we are on Gmail at frithguildpod@gmail.com, or on Facebook or any other social media at Frith Guild Podcast. We want to also thank Frith Chronicles Wiki, as well, as it is a great resource for us to use. And again, link to everything down below in the description section for the podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you. And Scott, do you have anything else to add for this week?
Like, share, subscribe.
All right. We'll talk to you next week.